Hi, I'm Gilleen Witkowski, owner of Walk My Dog Toronto.
My name is Anita Agrawal, and I am the CEO of the small jewelry manufacturing company, Best Bargains, which is based in Toronto.
Dog walking is a low fee for service. There's only so much you can charge for a dog walk. It's not like legal consulting or some of the higher paid gigs. You max out at a certain point. So it's tempting to pay the minimum wage. I decided not to do that because I wanted to create a wage that people could live on. So I started paying about $15 an hour, a little more, to the staff from day one. When you're a young business, you rely on your first staff, your second hire, your third hire. It's so crucial. But the reason I made the decision was because A, of course, I wanted my staff to be able to afford to live in Toronto. And B, I did not want them to have to go looking for a second or a third job. I wanted them to work for me. We've had people who've been with us for more than 1 year. We've only been operating for a year and a half. I've had almost no turnover and no no-shows. Nobody has ever not shown up to a client's house. It's incredible. We need that kind of trustworthiness because we have keys to people's homes. We go in, we get their dog. It's a very vulnerable situation for the clients. We have to have that trust.
I'm here today in support of this extremely important bill. First, as a professor, I've seen the first-hand impacts that precarious employment has on students. Students who start out the semester with eager enthusiasm and energy end up working 2 to 3 jobs during their term in order to pay for their ever-increasing tuition. Do we want a future workforce that is unproductive and exhausted while they figure out where and how they are going to make ends meet, trying to balance the scheduling of 2 to 3 part-time jobs in order to get by? Secondly, as a jewelry manufacturer, according to a recent survey by the Jewelers Board of Trade, our industry has seen a 25% decline of businesses closing shop between the years 2014 and 2017. That's nearly 1 in 4 businesses because of the decline in demand of consumer goods. To me, the connection between the decline of purchasing is directly related to how much disposable income people have. Studies have repeatedly shown that when people earn more money, they are more likely to invest that money directly into their local economies. We have seen the benefits of regular scheduling and paying our staff a living wage as being in operation for 30 years. We have 0 turnover. Some of my staff have been with us for nearly 20 years. When workers feel like they are respected and treated fairly, they are invested in the productivity and the goals of the company.
And as businesses, there are other ways in which we compete with each other than wages. Wages are a huge portion of our expenses, of course, mine included. It's almost the whole business. But we compete on service level. You can compete on efficiencies. When you have low turnover, it saves you money. It's incredible. Like my staff being there at the beginning days of the business, never having a no-show, staying with me for over a year. That stuff pays off huge. Paying $12 an hour, I don't think people would have stayed. I don't think they could have.
Organizations that represent small business employers like yourself, like CFIB, come up with so much information.
As I have too, which I've brought here, which is also from the Better Way Alliance, which is also representative of small businesses such as myself. So there are opposing views, obviously, but there is a case for progressive economics and for paying a decent living wage. More than 50 economists within Canada have argued for that, and over 200 economists globally have argued for the same. So there is a variation of opinions, and I am also part of a small business alliance.
Right. Just a quick question then, is there anything you agree with coming from either the Ontario?
I would love to see the same kind of passion indicated when my rent went up from $4,200 right here in downtown Toronto to $6,000 a month overnight. There is nobody that actually speaks out for commercial tenants in this province, and is absolutely deplorable. That's what I'd like to add. And there was no outrage around that. And I see that happening all throughout the Yonge corridor where I'm at. Nobody's arguing on behalf of rent increases. Most businesses I know have gotten out of business because their rent increases overnight. Luckily, I have the staying power to last that and survive that.
You talked about being able to pay those living wages all this time. How do you think that's impacted the success of your business?
Actually, we've only started paying a living wage about the last 8 or 9 years, and it had a great impact. We had 0 turnover. Our staff was more invested in building relationships with our clients. They were happier. They were able to spend more time. It just fostered a much better work environment than we previously had, for sure.
Why is it that you support this? Why do you support a higher minimum wage, protection for workers, and additional protections for workers?
Because workers are the foundation of any business. The reason why I'm able to come here on a work day during working hours is because I have the staff taking care of my business right now. I wouldn't be able to be here if it wasn't for them. It's really that simple.
We're playing catch up. It's correction. It's not above and beyond. It's really where we should be. So you've got to be on the right side of that. And as for the other elements that are there to modernize the labor system in a world in which employment and jobs are changing, you have to support it. It's essential.